All right, today we're jumping into something you probably use 100 times a day without even thinking about it, the simple present tense. Now I know, tense sounds like boring grammar, but trust me, this is the engine that runs our everyday conversations about facts, habits, and routines. So let's get into it.
So, let me start with a quick question for you. What could a massive universal fact, like, say, the Earth revolving around the sun, have in common with a simple personal habit, like you checking your phone every morning? They seem like totally different things, right?
Well, the answer is, they're all expressed using the simple present tense. It's kind of wild when you think about it. Pauline loves pie. That's a fact about Pauline. Hamsters run all night. That's just a general truth about hamsters. Miss Jackson travels during the summer. That's her habit. It's the same simple tool for all these different ideas. Okay, so we know what it does, but what exactly is the simple present tense? Let's pin down a really clear definition for this thing we use all the time.
So here it is, the official definition. The simple present is basically for two main jobs. First, for things happening right this second, like when you say, I feel great. And second, this is the big one, for things that happen on repeat or are just always true. That word unceasingly is key. It's for things that don't stop, whether that's a law of physics or just your daily coffee habit.
Now let's really zoom in on those two core jobs, talking about facts versus talking about habits. Getting the feel for this difference is really the secret to mastering the simple present.
And this really makes it crystal clear, doesn't it? When we say, Pauline practices the piano every day, we're describing a routine, a habit. It's an action she repeats. But when we say, Pauline loves pie, that's not something she's doing right now. It's just a fact about her. It's a general truth. Same tense, but two totally different meanings.
Okay, enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty. How do we actually build sentences with this tense? The best part is, it follows a super simple formula. So for most of the time, when you're talking about I, you, we, or they, it's incredibly easy. You just take the verb in its most basic form, the root verb. No changes, no fancy endings. I walk, you talk, we listen. It's really that simple. But you knew there was a but coming, right? There's always one little exception. Whenever you're talking in the third person about a he, a she, or an it, there's one small twist you have to remember.
And here's the twist. For most verbs, you just tack on an S. So I write becomes he writes. Easy enough. For verbs that end in certain letters like O or SH, we add ES. And that's really just to make it sound better. She goes sounds clunky, but she goes flows right off the tongue. It's a tiny change, but it makes a huge difference in sounding natural.
Okay, so we can say what's true. Now what about saying what's not true? Let's figure out how to make negative sentences. And don't worry, this also follows a nice predictable pattern.
The magic words here are don't and doesn't. You just pop them right in front of the verb. Now, here's the really important part. The main verb always goes back to its basic root form. See the example? She doesn't think. The word doesn't does all the hard work, so think doesn't need that extra S anymore. It gets to just be itself.
All right, we can make statements, we can make negative statements. The last piece of the basic puzzle is asking questions. Let's check out that formula.
And again, it's just like a simple recipe. Step 1, start your sentence with do or does. Step 2, add your subject, like you or he. And step 3, finish it off with the plain old root verb. Do you know? Does he like? Once you get this pattern down, you're pretty much set to ask anything. So every set of rules in grammar has a rebel, right? The one that just refuses to play along. Well, in the simple present, that rebel is the verb to be. It's probably the most common verb we have, and it completely ignores the rules we just went over. It just does its own thing.
Yeah, just forget everything about do and does for a minute. The verb to be completely changes its costume depending on the subject. I am, you are, she is. It's totally irregular. But here's the good news. We use these words so constantly that they start to feel natural really fast. And making them negative is a piece of cake. You just add not right after. I am not, he isn't.
Okay, it's time to tackle one of the most common points of confusion for anyone learning English. The simple present versus the present continuous. Getting this right is a total game changer, so let's make it super clear.
So, what is the real difference here? If you hear someone say, she writes, and then someone else says, she is writing, what's changed? I mean, both things are happening in the present, but they're communicating two very, very different ideas.
And here's the breakdown. She writes daily is the simple present. That's her habit. Maybe it's her job. It's a general fact about her life. But she is writing now. That's the present continuous. That ing at the end is your big clue that the action is happening this very second. It's in progress. Think of it this way. One is what she does. The other is what she is doing.
This quote really just nails it. It boils everything down to one simple idea. Simple present is for habits and facts. Present continuous is for what's happening right now. If you can just burn that one sentence into your brain, you'll avoid so many common mix-ups. Habit versus happening now. That's it.
So, to wrap this all up, let's put it into practice. Your turn. Right now, just think of one simple fact about yourself and one habit that you have. Maybe you love coffee. That's a fact. Maybe you walk your dog every morning. That's a habit. The second you answer that, guess what? You're using the simple present tense perfectly. You've got this. Thanks for tuning in.